Welcome to another chilling tale here on Echo Noir. Tonight, we open the doors to a place most people never dare to enter after dark, an abandoned library that whispers the voices of the dead. It was a stormy night. Thunder rolled above the city, rain hammered down against broken windows, and in the distance stood an old library, long forgotten by time. Its roof sagged, its windows cracked, but inside, thousands of dusty books remained untouched. Locals swore that if you listened closely on quiet nights, you could hear whispers between the shelves, voices of those who never left. Our story follows a young woman, 25 years old. Her name was Alina. She wore a black leather jacket over a gray hoodie, jeans tucked into worn boots, and carried a small notebook where she scribbled her thoughts. Alina was a history student, fascinated by the forgotten past. She had heard of this library, and she was determined to uncover its secrets. At exactly midnight, she pushed open the heavy wooden doors. They groaned loudly, echoing through the cavernous hall as though the building itself was waking up. Inside, it was freezing cold, her breath visible in the air. A single chandelier swayed gently above, giving off just enough light to reveal rows and rows of towering shelves stretching into the shadows. She stepped inside. The sound of her boots echoed off the stone floor. Every corner of the library seemed to watch her, as if the shelves themselves held eyes. She reached for a book on a lower shelf. Its cover was thick with dust. As she blew across it, the dust swirled like smoke, and for a brief second, she swore she saw a pale hand vanish into the mist. Alina's heart began to pound. She shook her head, convincing herself it was just her imagination. But the deeper she walked, the louder the silence became. That's when she noticed it, a chair in the corner. It began to rock on its own. Slowly. Back and forth. Back and forth. As though someone invisible had just stood up and walked away. Her skin prickled. She turned her head sharply, expecting to see someone there, but there was nothing. Just empty shadows between the shelves. She clutched her notebook tighter, trying to steady her breathing. She pulled out another book. This one was thicker, bound in cracked red leather. When she opened it, the words on the page seemed to blur, almost move under her eyes. And then, from somewhere behind her, a whisper, "Leave." Alina spun around. Her flashlight beam cut across the room, revealing only endless aisles of books. No one was there. But the whisper had been clear, almost in her ear. She tried to laugh it off, but her hands trembled as she placed the book back on the shelf. And then, louder this time, another whisper, this one a different voice, low and harsh, "You shouldn't be here." The sound came from the far end of the library. Alina swallowed hard and began walking slowly down the long aisle, her boots crunching against scattered papers on the floor. With each step, the air grew colder, and the whispers grew louder. She realized now, it wasn't just one voice. It was many. They overlapped, tangled, like dozens of people whispering secrets all at once. Her flashlight flickered. Once. Twice. Then it went out completely. Darkness swallowed her whole. In the silence, she could hear it. Breathing. Not her own. Heavy, slow, ragged breathing. Right behind her. She froze. Every muscle in her body screamed at her to run, but she couldn't move. Then, with a shaking hand, she reached for her lighter and flicked it on. A small flame lit the space before her, and in the reflection of the glass cabinet beside her, she saw it. A figure. Tall, gaunt, its face pale and stretched thin, eyes hollow, staring at her from just a few steps away. The flame flickered. The figure opened its mouth, but no sound came out. Instead, all around her, every single book fell from the shelves at once, crashing to the ground in a deafening roar. The flame went out. And in that darkness, Alina realized she was not alone anymore. The library itself had awakened. Alina's chest heaved as she stood in total darkness. The silence was crushing, broken only by the faint flutter of pages somewhere deep within the library. She fumbled with her lighter again, her hands shaking so badly she nearly dropped it. When the flame finally sparked, it revealed a narrow aisle ahead, but the shelves looked different now. They weren't just books anymore. She leaned closer and saw faces. The spines of the books had twisted into stretched, human faces. Their eyes bulged open, mouths frozen in silent screams. And as she stared, their mouths began to move. Whispering. Chanting. Alina. Alina. She stumbled back in terror, knocking over a stack of papers. The whispers grew louder, rising into a chilling chorus. She screamed, and for a split second, everything went silent. A soft creak echoed from above. She tilted her lighter upward, and nearly dropped it when she saw the chandelier swaying violently, as though something had leapt across it. The shadows on the ceiling twisted and stretched unnaturally, forming long, claw-like arms that dragged along the walls. She backed away. Her boot hit a table, and she saw books scattered across it. They weren't normal. The ink on every page shifted, rearranging itself into words. "You cannot leave. You belong to us." Alina slammed the book shut. A gust of icy wind swept through the library, extinguishing her lighter for good. Now in darkness, she saw a dim yellow glow far down the aisle, like a lantern swinging. Desperate, she followed it, but the further she walked, the further away it drifted. Soon the shelves around her bent inward, forming a maze. Then came footsteps. Slow, dragging, following right behind her. She froze. The steps froze too. She whispered, "Who's there?" And something laughed. A dry, hollow laugh echoing from every direction. Her flashlight flickered to life as it rolled out of her pocket, revealing a tall, hooded figure at the end of the aisle. Thin. Its face hidden. Its hands impossibly long, bony fingers curling over the shelves as it moved closer. Alina shined the light directly at it, but the beam passed straight through, as if it were smoke. Still, it kept coming. The whispers grew louder. Books rattled on the shelves, pages tearing free and swirling through the air like blades. Faces appeared in the flying sheets, screaming, crying, pleading. Alina clutched her notebook to her chest. The pages tried to wrap around her, to smother her, to pull her into their prison. And the hooded figure was almost upon her. Then, every clock in the library began to ring at once. Dozens of ancient grandfather clocks, cuckoo clocks, pocket watches, all ticking, all chiming, filling the air with deafening chaos. Time itself seemed to break apart. Alina covered her ears, but the sound drilled into her skull. Through the clamor, one voice hissed clearly, "Your time is over." Alina's knees buckled as the chiming roared around her. She dropped to the floor, hands over her ears, eyes squeezed shut. But then, the noise stopped. Silence. Slowly, she looked up. The hooded figure was gone. The flying pages had fallen lifeless to the ground. For a moment, it felt like she was alone again. But then, just inches from her face, she saw it. A reflection in the broken glass of a fallen clock. The hooded figure was standing right behind her.